Almost 3 weeks ago on this channel, we talked about some of the decisions that were made by the NAIA selection committee regarding the NAIA Championship Football Series and some of the teams that were in, some of the teams that were out. We've talked about those decisions a few more times in the last 3 weeks. And I will say really quickly before we go any further that for everything that we might have said about the committee here on the channel, man, the college football playoff committee in Division One took it to a new level, said, hold my Dr. Pepper. We can be public enemy number one. And that is exactly what they did. Don't have a dog in the hunt with Florida State, but definitely Florida State was left out. Good evening. Welcome to Midwest Sportsnet. And we don't always talk about Division I football. Occasionally we do. We normally talk about Division II and the NAIA, football, basketball, volleyball, you name it. We talk about them here. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get right to it. We're going to talk about the top 5 performances tonight from the NAIA football playoffs this week, the quarterfinals. Before we do, we're going to go beyond the 5, and I will say, hey, listen, my picks from last weekend, yeah, they went up in a huge ball of orange flame, destruction all around, collateral damage to boot. There was no question. I was picking on defense, and the defenses that I was picking to do better did not do as well. So Gavin's already saying, how about them Yotes? Did not pick the Yotes. We will talk about the Yotes and a few more. So let me set the stage here really quickly. Let's go ahead and put a score up there. We're going beyond the 5 right now. Just to make sure that that everyone knows. Hey, Jake, good to see you tonight. Thanks for stopping by. By the way, Gavin, from where are you watching? Let me know from where you're watching tonight. Anyone who's watching the live stream, please let us know from where you are watching. I have a good idea that Jake is watching from East Wichita. And so there we are. All right, let me set the stage really quickly. I was in Texarkana, Arkansas this weekend. I do a lot of broadcasting, and specifically, I get to work a lot with Great American Conference in Division II. Get to do broadcasting on other levels. I mean, NAI, Division II, high school, you name it. Thoroughly enjoy the doors that God's opened up for me and what I get to do in this life. And so I'm very thankful. So Saturday with a noon Central kickoff, I was calling the Live United Bowl between Southern Arkansas and Missouri Western, which Southern Arkansas won 43-27 in that game. And so that in mind, no, I did not get to watch all of the games like we normally do. And so I'm a little bit behind on that. Did get to keep up, did get to listen a little bit along the way to some. And quite frankly, as an old radio broadcaster, and I've done that for a number of years as well, I enjoy listening too. That's always fun. Just get in the car and find a game. When I was young, I just got my license when I was 16 years old. This is back a few years back. Let's just say it's a few years back. I'm 52, do the math. And would be driving down the road on a Saturday, wherever I happen to be going, or even during, wintertime when there's basketball games places, just get on that AM dial and tune it till you could find a good game somewhere. Didn't matter who it was. So long story short, catching up on all of the things to get to the top 5 performances. But I know some of you all, and I'm already seeing in the comment section, Willits, California. Am I seeing that right? Willits, California. Already seeing the comment section. Caldwell, Idaho. Thank you, Gavin. That's exactly the place that you should be, and you need to be celebrating in Caldwell, Idaho. Lake Placid, Florida tonight as well. And, okay, proud, but no donut. Close, but no donut there for the Wildcats. We'll talk about all that tonight, and we'd love to get to hear from you all tonight as well. So please keep it coming in the comment section. And thanks for watching, too. I know normally the preview is not this long, but I just wanted to set the stage for you all. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do like the video and watch. We are like this close to getting our 4,000 watched hours in that sliding 365-day window. We're getting there. We are getting there. All right, let's just get right to it. Here we go. St. Xavier fell to Northwestern, as most teams have done in the last 2 years. The 2022 season started out for the Red Raiders with a victory for Morningside, a 1-point victory for Morningside over Northwestern, 30-29. And since that time, the Red Raiders have not dropped a contest. And it was a 34-17 win. Connor McQuillan, 22 carries for 99 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He had 3 receptions for 31 yards as well. Props to Austin Gerard. Haven't called his name much this year, at least not on this broadcast. And he had 2 catches, 61 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns as the Red Raiders double up on St. Xavier. Justin Pringle ends the season, 9 catches, 79 yards. What a season he had. And 1 receiving touchdown. He also had 4 kickoff returns for 135 yards. That's pretty good to give the Cougars good position to set things up. They were not able to capitalize all the time from that. However, one time he didn't need to because Pringle had a 70-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So props to him in that. Northwestern advances. And I think, as far as I could tell, for this game, this may be a little bit more of a spread than I thought. I thought it might be about 10, 14 points. So 17, it feels right for the number 1 team in the country playing at home again. But I know that the Cougars really came alive as the season went along. So props to St. Xavier in that, making it to the quarterfinals. We move on, and this – okay, by the way, let me go ahead and say this. That was the only game I picked right, period. That was the only game I picked right. And I know – I'm throwing it out there. I'll own it when I don't do it properly, but there it is. College of Idaho. How about them Yotes? Coming away with a 31-17 victory. Let's look at this really quickly, and we're going beyond the 5 right now, and so I'm leaving behind some of the better performances or some of our top 5 performances in all this. If I didn't say somebody's name, expect it to come up here in just a moment. Grandview had given up 56 points all year long. Again, Grandview had given up 56 points all year long. That Vikings defense gave up 31 on Saturday alone. I had talked about College of Idaho's offense and what the Yotes had been able to do over the course of the season. Some was starting to notice Andy Peters early mid portion of the season, didn't recognize as much of what he was doing. As the season went on, was starting to put things together, and hey, this guy's got some moves. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball. What does he have around him, and does he have a defense as well? I wasn't sold on the offense as much as I think some other people were. Now, again, that's not a takeaway from what Peters has done. He did a great job. Schofield's done a great job. But I didn't know that they would be able to go into Des Moines and do what they did. John Schofield, 8 catches for 104 receiving yards, 3 rushes, 41 yards, including one of those that was a 39-yarder. Chase Brown had a couple of tackles, 2 pass breakups, and a 95-yard interception returned for a touchdown. And that came when it really needed to happen. It showed up at the end when Grandview was coming down, trying to get back into this one. Props to Brown for that. Chip Mitchell and Willie Nelson with 7 tackles apiece. For Grandview, Jackson Waring ends this season 23 for 45 passing, 277 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 3 sacks given up. He had 12 carries for 21 rushing yards. Waring finishes the season, by the way, with 36 passing touchdowns. That's second in the NAIA. Tristan Waugh also at 4 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss. One of those was a sack. He also finishes the season 15 sacks. That's tops in the NAIA. I realize there were 2 more weeks to go, but right now that is tops in the NAIA. And Jeff, let's go ahead and throw that one up there really quickly. Jeff says shows the true strength of the Frontier Conference. You know, and by the way, Jeff, let us know from where you're watching tonight too. Are you a Frontier Conference person? I don't think I was as sold on the Frontier Conference as, again, some other folks over the course of the year. And I would still have zero problem with the GPAC having 3 teams in. If Lindsey Wilson wins, wouldn't have had a problem with the Mid-South having 3 teams in. I thought 3 was a bit much for the Frontier Conference. But you know what? You've got, and the way it's set up, you've got College of Idaho having to take on Montana Western. That should have been a matchup for a quarterfinal or possibly a semifinal if things are set up differently along the way. Instead, it's a second round matchup. So who knows? There could have been more Frontier Conference teams in if that matchup didn't happen as early as it is. So Jeff, props to that, and we will give credit on that as well. So I don't know. There we go. When you hold a team to 9 points in the first half, it shows how good the defense is, and we'll just go ahead and put there. Arms Family Fishing, yeah. I think so too, and that was the other thing, and I didn't mention this at first because I wanted to talk about the offense. I haven't given the offense enough credit. I'll do that this week, but there's a lot more on the way this week when we talk about our preview of the semifinals. We'll get to that a little bit later. But how good was the defense too? I mean, that you're holding Jackson Waring to just 17 points. This Grandview offense was putting up 43, 44 points a game as well. I mean, it was a statistically, scoring wise, a more highly powered offense. I'll get this out, I promise. Than what College of Idaho was, and yet it was the defense that did a great job too. So, props to what's going on. All right, and let's move it on down. Hey, Josh, glad you're on here. I'll have to talk OSU football a little bit later. I'm in the NAIA section right now, but yeah. How about that Big 12 championship game? You can always tell when a Texas fan shows up because he's going to let me know that the Longhorns beat the Cowboys there. OSU is one of my alma maters, so props to the Longhorns. Let's continue here. College of Idaho, 31-17. I mentioned Schofield Brown with the big 95-yard interception return, and it could not have happened at a better time for College of Idaho for the win, so they will move on. Northwestern College of Idaho move on, as does Georgetown. 31-21 over Indiana Wesleyan. Now, I mentioned that for me, I was looking at defense on a lot of my picks. And I thought that Grandview's defense would have enough to be able to keep College of Idaho in check. And again, not to take away from College of Idaho's defense. I just, I thought that the Vikings defense was better, and it had shown itself to be stronger over the course of the season. That was my take on that. I felt like you're looking in this game at two defenses that really could hold their own, and one of them showed up a little bit more than the other. And I don't know if Indiana Wesleyan just ran out of gas. Milton, I don't know in this sense if the defense ran out of gas, but the Tigers definitely took care of business at home. And a couple of big plays, a couple of pick sixes. That's what's going to do it, especially one early on. I mean, it was missed field goals at the start. You get through no points early on, and then when Georgetown scored, Indiana Wesleyan turns right back around. One play later, you get a pick six, take it the other way. All of a sudden, Georgetown's up 14-0, and the Wildcats didn't have, at least on Saturday, didn't have enough in the tank to make the comeback, and you get another pick six too as well. Garrett Slunacher for the day, 15 for 22 passing, 126 passing yards, just one touchdown, 2 interceptions. That mirrors what Xander Stokes did. Stokes had some more passing yards, 21 of 35 passing, 240 passing yards. But again, one touchdown, 2 interceptions. The quarterbacks were held in check in this one. The defenses were the ones who rose to the occasion. For Indiana Wesleyan, Isaac Smith, 9 catches, 111 yards, 1 receiving touchdown. He had 1 rushing touchdown as well. So Smith getting his name called for the Wildcats in their final game of the season. For Georgetown, it was Darius Neal again, and they went to Neal early and often. 30 carries, 132 rushes, rushing yards. Did not have a touchdown, though. Again, the defense stepped up on this one. Drew Rader and Josh Clifton, the kickers for these two teams, combined to go 1 for 4 in field goal attempts. So there you go. All right. Let's not go away really quickly from this one. We'll move on just a second to our final game, but let's put this one back up here. In reality, how many ranked teams did Grandview play during the season compared to the teams in the Frontier Conference and what they do? That's a really good question. And I think when you look at it, and I guess, I'll tell you what, the Frontier Conference played a number of ranked teams, and with the Frontier Conference too, in that the ranked teams were there, but they were near the bottom of the top 25 for the majority of the year. You were seeing College of Idaho in there. You saw Carroll start to rise up, and Carroll got into the top 10, but you'd see College of Idaho. Montana Western really didn't show up that much until later on. Montana Tech was in there off and on as well. And looking back, and if I had it set up, I might be able to put this schedule up there. Grandview started the season with Mid-America Nazarene, got a 24-7 win over Mid-America Nazarene, a team that finished ranked and was 9-2, which, by the way, I'll say it right now, and I'm please go ahead and chalk it up, record this, do whatever, we'll bring it back. Be looking for Mid-America Nazarene next year. Just throwing that one out there. Played a very tough Baker team. Baker was ranked. Also played Graceland. Now, Graceland was not at full strength then. Graceland at the start of the season would have finished ranked if it keeps the same roster out there on the field, and did not. And by the way, here's the key, and you may be right on this, Arms Family Fishing. Grandview did not have to play Benedictine this year. So that was a big opportunity. Then they didn't have to. Of course, Dickinson State and College of Idaho in the playoffs. So let's look at it. Mid-America finished the season ranked. Mid-America Nazarene and Baker did as well. So, yeah, you're right. Playing at tougher competition there could have made a difference in that. Playing a game at Des Moines, I would have thought that would have held some sway in there too. Not that a team from Idaho would have any issue with cold weather. So there you go. All right, one more. Let's do one more game as we go beyond the 5. One more matchup here. I've already been chastised for my pick on this one, so go ahead and bring it. But again, let me tell you why. I really felt like Bethel's defense was going to bring it. Bethel's defense, Indiana Wesleyan's defense, Grandview's defense, these were defenses that really had shined over the course of the season. Bethel's defense did not match up well. And I was also told, do I not even watch Kaiser play? Have I even seen Kaiser play a game? Haven't seen Kaiser play a game start to finish. I have seen Kaiser play, and I enjoy listening, like I said, to these games as well, because I can't pick up all of them. And being an old radio guy, I mean, if the play-by-play guy is good, you can see what's going on. And some of these NAI play-by-play guys are good, and so you can see what's going on. But it was funny too. And don't you realize that Kaiser's lost only one game to an NAIA team in the last 2 years? Well, that logic doesn't really fly coming into the game, because Bethel had lost only one game to an NAIA team in the last 2 years prior to the matchup on Saturday. So that logic doesn't really fly as well, but props to what Kaiser did. And the Seahawks just got it done, flat out got it done. As we look at some of the stats beyond the 5 here, Bryce Beasley, 10 for 13 passing. How's that for efficient? 135 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, no picks. Didn't have to throw the ball in the end zone too many times, because Jaden Meisinger carried the ball 22 times for 126 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Meanwhile, for Bethel, Avant Burris, 3 receptions, 104 receiving yards, another 100-yard receiver for the day. J.D. Dixon closes out the year with 100 receiving yards on 4 catches, 2 receiving touchdowns. Joaquin Collazo III, let me slow down. I read that way too fast. 11 for 32 passing, 257 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 5 carries for 10 yards. And when you throw and your completion percentage is less than 33%, right at 33, right at 34, let's give him 34. 11 for 32. That's not going to get it done. It's just not going to get it done. It shows what Kaiser did, not only offensively, but defensively, holding Bethel to just 14 points. By the way, Collazo with 37 passing touchdowns now. Those 2 on the day on Saturday gave him 37 for the year. That's tops in the NAIA. And he's very likely to end up top. Now, Gramstad and Peters still have time to pass that mark. And if they meet in the championship, which could happen, by the way, it'd be fun to see if both of them go ahead and pass what Collazo's done this year. Big win for Kaiser. Big win for Kaiser. Let's move on. Let's go straight to our top 5 performers then, okay? Here are our top 5 for the weekend. If you were following along at home and you notice when I read some of those scores, there were names I didn't mention, that was by design because we had to talk about these players at the end. Jalen Gramstad, 14 for 18 passing, 217 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 19 carries for 48 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown. Gramstad responsible for 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. That alone gets 18 points right there, and that was enough to beat St. Xavier. I know there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. Gramstad, I've said before, I thought warranted mention for NAIA Player of the Year in 2022. I think he very much warrants mention for Player of the Year in 2023. We'll see how that all plays out because Andy Peters might have something to say about that as well. 21 for 29 passing, 225 passing yards, no passing touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. However, he had 16 carries, a net of 77 yards rushing, and 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. Big day for Andy Peters. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball, just like Gramstad. Those two are right up there at the top. And I think both of them, again, warrant mention for Player of the Year. When you're talking about this and you're talking about the quarterback who puts up numbers like this on the number 1 team in the country in Northwestern, it is likely that is going to get some more, maybe a little bit more headline attention. I don't know. But anyone who does this, anyone who has wisdom with this has to consider what Peters has done as well. So just something to think about there. How about Kaiser? We have 2 on the board for Kaiser. Andrew Burnett, who had a day, at least statistically, we're going to give this for the statistics, okay? I know you look at this, and if you're a Kaiser fan and you're watching from Palm Beach or wherever the case may be, and you're saying, yeah, Joey, but Meisinger was in there at the start. He got his 22 carries there at the beginning, and different feel there. Burnett got 2 touchdowns near the end. Yes, he did. But we talk about Meisinger a lot, so we're going to give it to Burnett this time. How about Burnett? Andrew Burnett, 24 carries, 134 rushing yards. The big day for him, 3 rushing touchdowns. Makes it to our list of players, top 5 performances for the weekend. Also, Wendell Fullord Jr. How about him? And what a season. What a year. What an absolute year that he has had. And we look here really quickly, and I can't pull this up, but he has had, all kinds. He scored punt returns, kickoff returns, I believe. I know interceptions. He's done it all. Absolutely done it all. And on Saturday, he had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 65 yards for a touchdown, 1 punt return, 56 yards for a touchdown. He's had interceptions returned for touchdowns. Wendell Fullord Jr. is just absolutely the complete package on defense. He can make the tackles. He can get into the backfield. He can make the open field tackles as well. Have I seen Kaiser play football this year? Yes, I have. And of those players I've seen, one of them was Wendell Fullord Jr. He is the complete package. So props to him on that, and one of our top 5 performers for the weekend. And one more, Devin Starks. Starks with 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 pick sixes. Not 1, but 2 pick sixes against Indiana Wesleyan, and the Georgetown Tigers move on the strength of that defense and 2 pick sixes along the way. So props to Gramstad, Peters, Burnett, Fullord, and Starks for their performances on the weekend. We'll have at least one more weekend of top 5 performances, and then we'll put something together after the championship game as well. So don't forget, now we're not done yet here tonight. Stay with me for just a little bit longer, but we have one more Sunday night show with top 5 football performances for the year, and then we will preview the championship, and this year we'll talk about the championship after the fact too. We didn't have a show last year after the championship, and I'm sorry about that. it does get, when you do cover D2 as well, and all the other things that go on, sometimes it gets a little busy. So forgive me for missing out on that. We'll do it right. All right. So we wrap up tonight talking about a couple of things. Let's move on and look at, we have semifinal matchups to talk about. We'll go right there. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier that the college football playoff committee on the Division I level pretty much said, hold my Dr. Pepper. We can absolutely make worse decisions than any other selection committee on the face of the earth. And if you're a Florida State fan, then you know that that's probably correct. And granted, I'll say up front, not necessarily an Alabama fan. I'm really not. It's just, I don't, just not necessarily an Alabama fan. That doesn't mean anything, but Florida State, I don't know. As much as I've talked about defense today, the College Football Playoff Committee said it doesn't matter if you win with defense. That's not good enough. It's not good enough to win football games with defense. We want something more flashy. We want offense. We want it to be big and bright and powerful, and we want ratings and all this. So that's there. Now, again, so the College Football Playoff Committee is public enemy number one for, folks in the Eastern time zone, I think, but I don't know. Let me go back to say this. Just when you thought that the NAIA football championship football selection committee, the national selection committee, had gone back and said, listen, we're going to go with these seeds and we wanted to get these matchups there. They changed it. They just changed it. And here's how you have to look at this. I've said it, I believe 3 weeks ago. This is not a tournament. It's not a bracket. It is a championship playoff, a championship football series, a football championship series, however you want to say it. It's the playoffs, but it's a championship series. But these are not seeds. And I don't think anyone at this point anymore can say they're seeds. They're rankings, not ratings, by the way, either. That's a whole different video. They're rankings, but they're not seeds because this is not a tournament. And I have to think, and I don't know, I'm not on the inside. Nobody asked me. I'm pretty sure that if anyone in Kansas City watches these videos, I'm not going to get asked anytime soon either. But I'm pretty sure that these were planned out in advance, that they knew that Georgetown willing to make the drive to Northwestern, and someone's going to have to fly. And so as opposed to having two teams fly, they set it up to where one team would fly. One team would not have to fly within that 850-mile driving distance. This was prepared in advance, and it's fine. Honestly, these are really good matchups. We're going to get to see Georgetown and Northwestern. We're going to get to see College of Idaho and Kaiser. These are fantastic matchups. But what they are not are seeds. They're not. They're rankings. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure that applies. I would just, there's a part of me that just wants to say they're arbitrary numbers beside a team's name. So we're going to drop the arbitrary number beside these teams' names and just talk about them for who they are from here on out. There we go. Georgetown at Northwestern. This should be fun. First time these two teams have met, and it's going to be in Orange City, Iowa. And again, Georgetown, the cold might affect a little bit. We'll see how the forecast does for all of this. Northwestern will have a huge crowd there in Orange City. Should be a lot of fun. This is going to be a fun matchup. We're going to preview this on Thursday night at our normal time, and we're also going to preview this game. And this is where this one's going to be a challenge for me, at least from the standpoint of picking games. I haven't picked College of Idaho in the last 2 weeks, and College of Idaho has just simply come out and won. I didn't pick Kaiser last week either, and so one way or another, for whatever team I pick, not that they're probably putting my pick up on the bulletin board anywhere, but if and they were, someone's going to go, this guy doesn't believe in us. Not the case. I'm totally I'm on board with either one of these two teams. By the way, another first-time meeting, too, between these two teams on at least first-time meeting on the football field. So this should be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot to talk about. So to prep for Thursday night, I want to invite everyone back, and this is what we're going to do. We are going to preview these two games. We're going to give you a lot of stats. We'll make a couple of picks. We're also going to talk a little bit about some prop bets. Vegas doesn't have these prop bets. You know what we're going to do? For Midwest Sportsnet and for all of you who watch, we're going to make our own prop bets. So we're going to talk about some prop bets and what you would like to see. So take some time and think about that over the next few days and give me what your props bets are. Hey, Dave, thanks for watching tonight. Very much. I really appreciate that. Dave, you don't have a dog in the hunt on this one. So be prepared with your prop bets for Thursday night too. And the final thing we're going to talk about, we're going to start doing our review of the season on Thursday night as well. So we don't want it to be just two games and talk about that and get off the air. If you guys are going to spend some time with me on a Thursday night, I want to spend some time with you as well. So we're going to talk about some of the conferences and we're going to wrap up the season and look, was it a successful season? Was it a meh season? Or was it a season that you go back to the drawing board and say, what did we do wrong? How do we fix this for next year? We'll talk about some teams individually. We'll talk about some conferences. And I want to hear what you all have to think about that as well, because I'm sure that you guys have something to say about that along the way. So to let me know. And Gavin already has a prop bet. So there we go. We'll see. I'm going to put it up there, Gavin. Hey, Jake, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching tonight, too. College of Idaho, punt return yards. The over-under is 0.5 yards. And Gavin, my guess there is because you went in and put that up there, you're probably going to take the under. So that's all right. So get your prop bets ready for the semifinals. We'll talk about the games, the matchups, and hopefully we'll have some fun on a Thursday night. We'll just do that. One other thing, too, over the course of this week, programming note, and I'm going to wrap it up, and thanks again. You guys are so awesome. It is my family enjoys seeing me when I step out of Studio B in here because I always have a smile on my face, and I just thoroughly enjoy getting to visit with you all on a Sunday or a Thursday or whatever night it is. And so, and for my family too, they appreciate you all. All 5 of my kids, my 2 grandkids, sons-in-law, they just they're having a blast. They're enjoying watching the channel grow, and it grows because of you. And I can tell you, I put a lot of work into it over the years, but it grows because of you. So I'm very grateful for you, and I never want to take anything like that lightly. Just want to let you know that. But programming note, that's what I was going to say. We're going to have, I believe, for one of our on the summit, we're going to get to visit with a couple of folks, including a very high-profile player for an NAIA women's basketball team. I know that one for sure, and we hope that comes out this week. And we look to have another broadcaster on as well. So should have a couple of good summits for you, and then a couple more good live streams. And who knows, we may just throw something else out there just for fun midway through. You guys are great. Milton, thanks for watching tonight. Gavin, thank you for coming on and watching tonight. Jake, always a privilege, sir. I appreciate that. Same thing, Dave, very much. Arms Family Fishing. Man, I know you guys have been on before, so thank you for stopping in. Let me see who else here really quickly. Definitely want to give a shout out to everybody. Jeff, Josh. Okay, Josh. Go Longhorns. Whatever. Anyway, go Pokes. There's no go Longhorns on that. Go Pokes. And by the way, does that not show what kind of brand power that Oklahoma State has, that Texas could beat Oklahoma State and that vaults you into the college football playoff? That's all I'm saying. That had to be a big win. It had to be a big win for you to get in there too. Jake, Gavin, Arms Family Fishing. Let me see. Jeff, did I get everybody tonight? Think I did. You guys are awesome. You're incredibly cool. I know for sure we'll see you on the live stream. Don't forget about the summits along the way. And we're going to get to that watched hours. We're going to do that. We'll do it together. God bless you all. Thanks again. 1-3 picks last week. We'll see what happens in the week to come. Y'all have a great night. Get some rest. Have a great December.